We are alive and online. Thank you all for attending, and everybody out there who's taken the time to sit down and listen to this and go through the meditations. Thank you very much. Today I'm going to continue a bit of teachings that I did the other day on Friday. I talked about how we're in a process in which a lot is going to happen in America that you in no way, shape, or form ever dreamt of. Yeah, and it's deeply inside of your future, but it's not inside of your consciousness as to what is going on. What is happening. Yeah, and what is happening is the biggest blessing taking place through my overshadowing and the teaching that I've done over the last 4 years. Yeah, if you've paid attention, have you attended my meditations, I give teachings during the meditations for about an hour, maybe an hour and a half. And they illustrate a great deal of the problems in society, the problems we have in America, the fact that we do not have a good economy, the fact that we do not have housing, we have a lot of homelessness, we have a lot of problems, and a lot of problems, all kinds of plumbing that needs to be redone, and how's that ever going to get started? How are you even going to get your town to do it for you? Yeah, let alone the fact that all of America needs this done, all of it, everywhere, schools, everything, so many things. And I spend all my time laying out every one of those things and all the toxic scenarios that are going on that needs to be cleaned up, and all the processes that are going on that we're not using the taxes for infrastructure, for maintenance, for health care, for Medicare, for education, for children, for schools, for all these things that we're paying for, and we're living in systems that are just derelict. Roads that are bad, bridges that are falling down, construction that is shoddy, and what to do. We look at it as our own area, our own location. That how are we going to fix this? But it's bigger than that. It is a consciousness that has to be outside of this thing that's causing us to do what we do, and capitalism and all this materialism and all this greed and a lack of ability to care or share or do the big thing that needs to be done, not the little things, but really, really, really big things. So any one of these things would be fantastic. Any one, just one, would be overwhelmingly fantastic, especially since the last 4 years we watched everything get erased and everything get substituted with really stupid things. So looking at the things that we need to get fixed, and all the things that have been destroyed, and we've gone back in our abilities to fix, let alone recognize what needs to be fixed. We jump into, we have social disorder. We have problems with black lives, or problems with too many guns, or problems with people who want to be Hitlerian, and are followers of a Trump kind of conspiracy. Those are all things that are manifested from not caring. It opens a whole world of us to go through this terrible, terrible scenario. And if we fix it, if we do good things, do the right thing, if we do it now and we continue doing it, we don't just stop. We learn from this. We find out that if we take a lot of money and invest it into the United States, into America, into manufacturing, into hospitals, into restructuring science itself, and creating avenues for kids who are getting out of high school, before they get out of high school, mentorships and all kinds of relationships of pre-education to education, so that they can get employed right out of high school. Or they can go on to other forms of education or technical education, but we don't have We don't have systems for that. Our schools are dilapidated. Our high schools suck. The education we get sucks. I pointed it all out. Spent a lot of time making sure you're really clear, at least where we're at in our world. No delusions. You need discernment and discrimination. And first you need to see the problem. And then after I show you the problem, in the last 2 years of it, I keep telling you, I am doing invocations and evocations to overthrow this president. And in that, I am doing evocations and invocations to manifest new actions into our government, governed by Christ. The government of Christ, governed by Christ. So the ideas that I would give forth over the last 2 years during my teachings are ideas that are for telepathy, ideas that will be instilled into our next president, instilled into the possibilities of us having the majority, of the House, or the majority of Congress, or the majority of Senate, whatever it takes for us to pass these bills, to pass these negotiations that we couldn't get if we had separation continued. But I overshadowed the process for us to get to the edge, to where we have the authority in democracy. And democracy, in every shape or form, becomes, the fact that we have it being destroyed right before our eyes. And yet, we are strong in the process of remanifesting what really is democracy. So then I laid out a scenario. Democracy is democratic socialism. It's not what you think socialism is or communism is, but you need to understand truth and history and what is politics and what are these things that we have as options, democracy, all these different things. Well, if you understand democracy, it is on the shoulders of the ideology of sociology, social systems, social understanding, helping people, doing things like hospitals to help people, to care for people, to create educational services so people can be more educated to fulfill those services and not just take money, not just be a capitalistic country, which is where we were at during the Civil War. We were either going to be capitalist or democracy, move toward democracy. And democracy is a socialized reality. It's a social reality. We take it and take it for reality. We have taxes from all people, all levels. And if you make a whole lot of money, you pay a whole lot more tax. And if you make very little money, you pay very little tax. That's reality, rather than, this other, that's capitalism in the other side, where it's just, we're going to pay very little tax or no tax whatsoever. Screw you. It's a game, folks, and it's not a game. It's capitalism. And they're taking advantage. They're capitalizing on it. So in this, I invoked a strategy of our getting out of this over a 15-year period, 2020 to 2035. Over that 15-year period, we're going to not take out loans, but we're going to invest in society by trillions of dollars. And I even said that, and says we're going to once this happens, we're going to invest in society, and we're going to start changing things rather than taking from people. We're going to give to people. We're going to create jobs that you can't imagine, that are new social structure jobs, like new technologies of creating, circuit boards and circuits, and the technologies that are done in China and other countries. Those need to be done here. But we need infrastructural financing support from the federal government, and that is a democratic social reality. Where on the other side they're saying no, we don't want big government, we don't want that, we don't want well, this is what you're going to get, because this is the way Christ does it, and this is the way it's going to save you. And 15 years later, we will have abolished where you were going, and the money pit you created, and the hellhole that comes out of it, and everybody's stuck on credit. High school people go to college and get out of college at 22 years old, 23, 24 years old, and have a $30,000 debt. And that's if they went to a bad, cheap school. You know, they go to Harvard, and they go to Princeton, they go to all the, it's $150,000 a year. You know, and who's going to pay for that? Mom, dad? No, not really. They want you to do it because they expect you to be a millionaire. You know, very much like the rest of the family and the rest of the people who have done that capitalistic process. You know, but that is all dying out. You know, it's all dying out. And we need to facilitate young kids becoming engineers and scientists and developing themselves in a higher education and higher ways of understanding things, and move them toward the ability for them to do what it is that's creative in their soul, rather than end up the way many of them are stuck today, burning down cities, you know, aggravating the law, creating a socialist, not a democratic socialist society, but a socialist society based on everything is tyranny. You know, everything is crazy-ass tyranny, and all there is being pissed off against tyranny. And that's not the way to look at it. Tyranny exists, but we're not in tyranny. Yeah, tyranny, yeah, but we're not in tyranny. Yeah? Yeah, it's all an illusion. Yeah? So all of it is being overshadowed and emphasized in change. And that change is coming your way this year and for here on. Yeah? Nothing got stopped. $5 trillion is coming your way. $5 trillion is being invested in America. Yeah? Through my overshadowing. It's impossible for that to happen. Literally impossible. $500 billion could go to the military, but not to humanity. Not in this way. I'm going to show you a list of the things that are coming your way, for a fact. They're coming your way, and how much money is being put into it. And it's coming your way. And it's happening, and it's happening over a 15-year period. Yeah? 15-year period. And that's mainly because over a 15-year period, the taxes that are gained from taking it from the wealthy and putting it back into the pot so that we can build infrastructure and create new sciences, new technologies, advance all electric technology on every single level in every single home. All going to be done for you. Going to be done for you. Yeah? It's not like, oh, how am I going to raise myself up to the middle class? I'm going to do that for you. All of you are all going to be raised up to the level of middle class. No poor children. If mental illness puts you on the street and drug addiction and mental illness combined keeps you on the street, we're going to fix that. Because money's going into that. Large amounts of money is going into that. Yeah? An infrastructure that is so commanding of a Christian way, a true way of being able to empathetically see the problems as I've laid them out over the last 4 years, and then be able to point them out in their structure of how they're going to use the money. Yeah? So check this out. One of the ways in transportation, it's $621 billion. And this is to fund roads, bridges, railways, and other infrastructure, which will create really good paying jobs and help the entire nation compete better. Yeah? That means that every single one of these jobs that we're doing, we don't have government infrastructure built in for us to go out and build these roads. We use contractors. We use companies that are capable of doing these things, that can go through the levels of integrity and science and ability on larger scales, which in a competitive scenario, if we're out there investing into the scenario and we say, okay, we have 110,000 roads we need done. Yeah? We have 120 bridges that have to be done over the next 2 years. 120. Yeah? And that's not a small amount. And 110,000 roads is not a small amount. And all of them are going to be tackled. Yeah? So a lot of people, millions of people, are going to be trained and paid. And those jobs you get $20, $25 an hour. Yeah? And in those jobs, the part of the structure of this thing is that we're setting up not just the scenario of here we're going to take care of the roads and we're going to take care of that, but we're also going to allocate $115 billion to modernize 20,000 miles of highways, roads, and main streets. 20,000 miles. How many jobs is that? That's bigger than anything that's ever been done before. Yeah? There's not going to be a person without a job. A well-paid job. Not a person without a job. And this is just roads, people. Just roads. It would fix the most economically significant large bridges and 10,000 of the smaller bridges. That's incredible. That's incredible. We, in a year, might be able to tackle 4 or 5 bridges in the United States Infrastructure Development and Maintenance Program. We might be able to do that because we've got so many people going, I don't know, maybe let's put it in a bill, let's run it through the Congress, let's see if the Senate will do it, And it's so slow. There's no system that allows this to happen unless it happens in one fell swoop, which is what's going on. One fell swoop. Trillions of dollars are being allocated, and no one, but nobody, can say no. Yeah? And then invest $85 billion to modernize existing transit and help agencies expand their systems to meet the demand. And not just that, I'll show you in a minute. This would double federal funding for public transit. Double federal funding. $80 billion would go to address Amtrak to repair the Northern Corridor all the way through Boston to Washington, D.C. $25 billion to airports and $17 billion to inland waterways, ports, and ferries. There's a lot. And you should be really happy all your roads are getting. But this isn't it. This isn't it. This isn't just the tiniest amount of it. The tiniest amount of it. Yeah? It will accelerate the shift to electric vehicles with a $174 billion investment. We got Tesla here with $35 billion investment, and we got back $45 billion. We got back an extra $10 billion after investing in that. And we're going to do the same in this. We're going to invest, and that money's going to come back tenfold. And it includes giving consumers rebates and tax incentives to buy American-made electric vehicles and establish grants and incentive programs to build a national network of 500,000 charging stations built by the federal government. Not Tesla, not some other thing, but bought and paid for you as a gift. Build a national network of 500,000 charging stations and would also replace 50,000 diesel transit vehicles and electrify at least 20% of all yellow school buses. Isn't that amazing? That's extraordinary. It is extraordinary. It's another world. It's a whole other world. Yeah? $400 billion to bolster caregiving for the aging. Can you imagine this? Nobody helps the aging. Nobody helps the aging and the disabled. Yeah? $400 billion. Expand access to long-term care services under Medicaid, eliminating the wait list for hundreds of thousands of people. That's like within a week, you're signed up for Medicaid. Within a week, everything you need, plus all benefits. If you're at a certain age and you need health care, you need a nurse, you need people to stay at your house to take care of you, done. We will take care of that. It's not your burden. Isn't that amazing? We became democratic socialists overnight. Overnight. And like I said, You're not asking for this, but you're going to get it. And you have no idea what you're getting, and you're going to get it. I'm telling you, this is not, oh, I hope we get that. Oh, that'd be nice if they pass that. Provide more opportunity for people to receive care at home through community-based services and from family members. In other words, all those people will be paid to take care of those elders. Not a burden to you or the country. Yeah? Because we're sharing. We're sharing and caring. We're taking money off the top. We're not allowing people to get away into foreign countries and do businesses or do lucrative money exchanges and not pay taxes over here for all the money they hold in their wealth is held in another country. And it keeps them from having to pay those taxes. Yeah? Well, that's ending. That's ending. And we're making negotiations with every single one of those countries that all these people, by international law, can't do that. It's over with. So now that is trillions and trillions of dollars that's been funneled away to other countries to keep you people from getting what you deserve. You live in the most profound, advanced country in the world, and you should benefit from it. You should benefit from it, and you're going to. In every possible way. You cannot imagine how far this is going to go. $450 billion to allow more older Americans and their families to receive care at home or in their community as opposed to nursing homes and other institutions, which is all we got right now. Nursing homes and other institutions. Anything goes wrong, a fire goes wrong, they leave you there. Yeah? Blood comes in, they leave you there. If we get into a terrible disease state like a pandemic, you're the ones who die first. So this is being taken care of. $300 billion toward boosting manufacturing. $300 billion toward boosting manufacturing. Under this plan, $50 billion of that money would be invested into semiconductor manufacturing in America. And another $30 billion would be going toward medical manufacturing to help shore up the nation's ability to respond to a future outbreak. That's amazing. That's amazing. For manufacturers that focus on clean energy and rural communities and programs that give small businesses access for credit. And about $20 billion would be used to create regional innovation hubs that would support community-led projects. $46 billion that would be used to make federal purchases of things like electric cars, charging ports, electric heat pumps for housing, commercial buildings that would boost the clean energy industry immediately without waiting for sales or anything like that. We would make the buy. We would make that change inside of our infrastructure. We'd buy the cars, we'd buy the electrical systems, everything, and that would boost the industry and need to build more industry to support the need that we're putting out. If we say we need 500 cars of a specific kind, and they can only make so many, and everybody else wants to buy cars, they better get rolling. And these all have to be American-made. Then they invest $213 billion toward building, renovating, and retrofitting more than 2 million homes and housing units. This will produce and preserve and retrofit more than 1 million affordable and energy-efficient housing units. The plan would also build and rehabilitate more than 500,000 homes for low and middle-income homebuyers. All with solar, all with everything you could ever imagine. How would you ever get that loan? How would you ever get this opportunity? Instead of us going headfirst into hell, we're coming right out of it. Door wide open. Upgrade the U.S. research infrastructure and establish the U.S. as a plan that would also aim to develop science, technology, engineering, and math. Invest in research and development investments. historically black colleges, and other minority service institutions. $111 billion to rebuild the country's water infrastructure. And I talked about that a lot, how all the roads had to be taken up because we have all this iron and lead in the infrastructure of our water systems. Who's going to do that? It's everywhere. It's everywhere. Yeah. But it would replace all the nation's lead pipes and service lines in order to improve the health of all American children and communities of color. Because that's where it's usually at, in the more impoverished states. Replacing the pipes would reduce lead exposure to 400,000 schools and child care facilities. The proposal would upgrade the country's drinking water, wastewater, and stormwater systems and tackle new contaminants and support clean water infrastructure in rural parts of the country. Pretty impressive. This is all things you'd like to do for your house, for your family. But as Jesus, you can't think like that. You got to think for everybody. Yeah? And this is a hard thing. This is a hard thing. Yeah? And there's going to be millions of people, their whole lives will be changed with real good paying jobs, and they have to be very professional, and they have to start to get educated real quick. And they have to be on time. And they have to work hard, and not because someone else will take their place, it's because everybody else is trying to do their best. You know, you're not working for Amazon anymore. We're now in another scenario. $100 billion for new public schools. Upgrade existing buildings with better ventilation systems, update technology labs, and improve school kitchens that can prepare more nutritious meals. Another $12 billion would go to the states toward infrastructure needs for community colleges. $25 billion to help upgrade child care facilities, increase the supply of child care in areas that need it the most, and plan also calls to expand tax credit to encourage employers to build care facilities at their own workplace, which is absolutely mandatory. Yeah? You cannot drop your kid off at a child care center. You can't do that. It's psychologically terrible. Yeah, you can't do it. The only thing you can do, if you're going to hire someone, you got to think of the whole. Yeah, you got to think, okay, I love people. I'm not going to be prejudiced. I'm not going to say, well, I'm not going to hire you because you're going to get pregnant. You're going to want time off, and I'm just not in my nature to take care of that. I have to make my bottom line, and this is hard. But when the country comes in and the money infrastructure comes in and the investment comes in to support you with tax cuts and tax rebates and other people are getting it done, we're going to see overnight maternity leave, vacations, wages going up from $18 an hour, average McDonald's, $18 an hour. That's going to be that way in the next 5 years. Yeah. And it's not because we're asking people. We're willing this to happen. We're through infrastructure, we're paying it off. Yeah? We're lowering the cost of people of going, I can't afford to do that. I would lose my business if I did that, if I paid this, if I did these benefits. But if the country comes in and says, we will give you tax rebates to do that. We will give you free money to do it. Stay in business, as an investment to society, because you are a service to society, and we back you on that. That is what government is for. It's not to stand back and take your tax money, and then go off to war and live in mansions and be a capitalist system. It can't be like that. It's never going to be like that here, ever again. Yeah. They invest $100 billion in order to give every American access to affordable, reliable, high-speed broadcast internet. Every American, yeah? The fastest internet, yeah? Which is, we're talking about 100 gigabytes, That's pretty fast. That's pretty fast. And then we have a process going on with the internet where we're now linking in to Starlink that allows this process to come in, and this will financially support people to go on and get that. Let's cut out all these companies that are taking advantage of you. So the plan would aim to promote transparency and competition amongst internet providers. And if you're getting a dish that allows you to have 200 gigabytes, coming down and 100 going up, and it's always good no matter what the weather is, because you've got your own freaking satellite, and you can put this on your van, you can put it on your RV, it could be connected to your car. It'll be advanced in that way as time goes on. So if that is the correct provider at the lowest price and gives the best service, then that is what you should get. And that's what's recommended in this process, is for us to minimalize and get people to work together and compete to be a better service and not to take advantage of people. And reduce the cost of broadband internet and increase its adoption in both rural and urban areas. Imagine the education. Nowadays, we have a great deal of people being able to pay their mortgage, pay their monthly rent, have a good life, simply because now they have internet and they can communicate with people and like-mindedness and find ways to support and finance themselves, something never was available before. Then $100 billion to workforce development, helping dislocated workers, people who got no job, and they're trying to get a job, and they can't get a job, and they're assisted in underserved groups, so they're helped to find other groups that are underserved, and getting students or career paths before they graduate from high school. This is supporting a government social system, supporting people to find jobs and to prepare for another job where they need people to work, and you're just simply not qualified for it and you don't know it exists, because that's totally outside your reality. Especially kids who are getting out of high school. They have no idea they're going to go get a job. They don't think about it at all. So if we put our time and energy into this, we can support them in mentoring and in other forms for the first 2 years of ending their school, not focusing on joining the military or getting into another college or doing those things, but go to work. Prepare yourself for going to work. And once you've set yourself up for being at work, then you can go to college. It's better to go to college part-time than it is full-time and have a full-time job and pay for it yourself and not get a loan. So, and these are things that are being prepared for society. We didn't have that before. It would provide $40 billion to retrain dislocated workers in high demanded sectors such as clean energy, manufacturing, and caregiving. It would invest $12 billion in programs to train and formerly incarcerated and create a new subsidized job program, eliminate sub-minimum wage provisions, and support community violent prevention programs. Really, come on, is this a good idea or what? And this is all being done. This is about opening the opportunity for everybody else, and this time we'll rebuild the middle class. We're going to bring everybody along, regardless of your background, your color, your religion. Everybody gets to come along. Clean energy and infrastructure investments from the federal government to support prevailing wages and labor jobs. Never been done before. Never been done before. We always talked about, oh, wow, what happens when we get into solar? I bet you we can get into the solar industry. Not until the government applies it as a necessity, yeah, and then begins to buy from it and build from it and create new infrastructure based on it. And then we get instant jobs, instant education, instant everything. Let's see. And then 15% of tax, this is how they're going to get it, 15% of tax on the income of the largest corporations report to investors known as book income, as opposed to the income reported to the Internal Revenue Service. Now, this is where Trump is going to jail right now for this. And this is what a majority of companies do this. A majority of companies. But, as you can see, something changed. Yeah? And this is coming in line with the new group of world servers, yeah, people in service. And they're there in service, and we shouldn't ridicule it. We want it to take manifest, and we want them to take responsibility for this manifestation. And we're in the middle of it right now, yeah? Corporate inversions make it harder for U.S. companies to acquire or merge with a foreign business to avoid paying U.S. taxes by claiming to be a foreign company. No more. Encourage other countries to adopt strong minimum taxes to corporations, included by denying certain deductions to foreign companies based on the countries without such a tax. And then the big one, the last one, raise corporate taxes. Raise more than $2 trillion over the next 15 years just in raising that one thing. $2 trillion. And that takes care of half of the investment. And you got to think, you got to really, come on, consider this, you know. An investment means money in your pocket. It's not a black hole. It's not war. Yeah? This is an investment in society, in a future, in infrastructure, yeah, in humanity, in health, in our hope, and how we're going to die, and how we're going to survive, and how we're going to work. All those things, if we put an investment in that direction, we get 100,000 times back over the next few years. Because now you got millions of people in great jobs paying great taxes. And that goes into the system. And that means now we're saying we'll spend all that money. Now we're getting all that money because we invested. And we invest into the city, we invest into the community, and we put it right back. We build all those roads just like you say we would do. We build all those freeways. We build all the infrastructures on the waterways, on the trains, on the highways, and in your internet. All of that gets done because you're actually paying for it. You're paying for it because you're being given the ability to enter the middle class. And as you're raised up into that process, taxes flow easily. You love it. You enjoy it because now you can see the benefit of paying taxes. And that is a democratic social system. We pay taxes. Socialists don't pay taxes as much. Yeah? And there's no governing reality to the sense that we are really independent and free to say and do the kind of creative mind and thoughts and technologies we want if you're in a socialist government, because it's very dominating. You know, we can't behave like that. We can't do things like that. It's almost like you got to be very Republican or very Democratic. A democratic socialist reality is an environment of enlightenment. It's an environment where people are given the freedom and invested in those people so that they can raise themselves up to be worthy of making the money that they need to make in order to have the houses, then build the houses and make those houses available at a price, at a quality, and a way in which those houses, you don't have to put much into it. They've done it for you. Yeah? because we're investing into a new future of electric houses and cars and everything. Yeah? So all of that is your benefit. You get to drive those cars, you get to fly in those planes, you get to have all this infrastructure, but at the same time, who built it? Yeah? All your neighbors, all your friends, all the people of society did it. Nothing gets done by a flick of a switch. Everything is done by people coming together, gathering together, and being put into a direction. Other ways it would be like, oh yeah, we're all going to join the draft, we're all going to join the military, we're all going to save the world, we're all going to, this a totally different mindset. This is investing into society and creating a social system that will maintain itself. Where we take care of the elderly. Imagine how you will not go around screaming and hollering and tearing down cities if you know psychically in your own heart that we are going to take care of you when you're older. And that's why you're screaming, because you don't believe we're going to take care of you when you're older. And up to today, we weren't going to take care of you when you're older. And you were right. Yeah? But that's not true anymore. Yeah? So you got to give it up. The systems are going to take care of you. And they're not going to take care of your drug addiction. They're going to take care of that in order to get you off the street, put you into a clinic, into a healing system, and get out of that. They're going to fund it. They're going to finance it. They're not going to throw it away. They're going to make little housing, tiny houses. Opportunities is going to be so big, bigger than we ever imagined. Yeah? And that's the thought form building that I've been teaching over this last 4 years. First you needed to see, and then, and I said, well, now you need to be educated, here's Trump, And every day you got to be educated. Every day you got to see a demon. Every day you got to listen to his lies. Every day you got to see him tear down everything that's good. Every day. And you get to see how close we're getting to a nuclear bomb. How close are we getting to this guy, tearing up the whole democratic system. And we're going to have, a coup? Wow, in America, that's really amazing. Well, you can just skip that. That will never happen again. Yeah, because it can only happen if people are psychologically kept from love, and they're not loved. If they're not loved, they're going to hate you. Yeah? If you're not loved by your parents, you're going to turn out to hate them. Yeah? You're going to feel real uncomfortable about them. And love will not come out of you for them. And you'll care less for them as they get older. And you'll do less for them as they get older. And that's obviously where we've all gotten to. So the only way to change that is for love. And this is a lot of love, people. A lot of love. Yeah? It's coming in beyond your wildest imagination. You cannot imagine what is coming from this. I told you, yeah, you're going to get electric planes. Yeah, your car's going to drive themselves. Then all of your minds are going, but I can't afford one of those cars. I can't afford one of those planes. How would I ever take advantage of that experience except for dying and then reincarnating? And then maybe the 30th year of my reincarnation, I might have enough money to buy one of those cars. That's where your head goes, because you have no other opportunities, no way to see this the way I do. I don't see limitations, people. I'm transcendental. And I make this happen in a transcendental way through the will of God, through invocation, evocation, through teaching. Yeah? And by invoking the truth will set you free. And it will be invested in, because the root of all evil is money and greed. And everything I teach is the way out. Yeah? So by teaching that, it has a power behind it that goes into everything, and it turns into manifestation. The power of manifestation. We have no idea that humanity has that ability, but every miracle you ever go through, in your mind, you realize that somehow this miracle is directly involved with me and God, and this manifested This manifested, an alternative scenario manifested over what could have happened. And since it turned out so good, it's a miracle, And when it doesn't, it's like, oh shit, that was terrible. Yeah. But every miracle that happens, it is a manifestation of the will of God. Yeah. And this is a big manifestation of the will of God in a collective way. Yeah. And this sets the stage for Germany, for Sweden, for Norway, for Denmark, for China, for Russia, for North Korea. It sets the stage. If I can get this moving the way it's supposed to move, and it is, I'm not in a place where I give a shit, and I'm not asking questions, and I'm not asking for votes. This is a willful scenario, and its time has come. It takes a time of invocation, evocation, So tomorrow I come into my 70th year here, on Earth, 70th year, yay, But that's really important, if you understand the initiations, and if you understand that I'm an initiate, I am an initiate, as is every master, every avatar, every high being that gets beyond the first, second, and third initiation. The rest of your lives are based on initiations. You're inside the wheel of dharma, and you're inside of a collective, so you can't get out of it. It's just the way it is, But and the higher that gets, the more you can't get out of it. The more you are encircled in a geometric configuration of a reality that happens in mathematical terms. Just like everything looks like a geometric pattern. And it is mathematics. It's mathematics. And at the highest level of education, the highest level of initiation, the highest level of consciousness is sacred geomancy. And when it comes down to us, we go through in our 7-year cycles. If you're a high initiate, every 7 years you go through an initiation. So if you're 50 years old, or 7 times 5, then that point of your initiation is that 7 times 5 period. The time that you get to your first 7 years, you're in your first initiation from 1 year old to 7 years old. And you're in your second initiation from 7-year-old to 14-year-old. And you get to your third initiation from 13-year-old or 14-year-old to 21-year-old. And every time those 7 years go by, you are actually a time machine that's taking in matter as it sits, and you're bringing it to the center point of time. So by doing that, as an initiate, you're doing that. You're dispelling glamour. That's what you're doing. You're not here to spend all your time buying cars and eating food and doing that sort of thing. You're here to spiritually ordain the planet. So you go through really weird processes of awakening over every 7-year period. And it changes you. You almost are reborn every 7 years. So in my case, this is my 70th year. So that means I'm in my 10th initiation, as a planetary possibility, as a planetary reality, because I was born here. Initiations for me are here in a 7-year cycle. So by the time I'm at a 70th year process, that 10th initiation far exceeds the process of your planetary logos. It far exceeds, goes into the process of the solar logos. And it becomes very much more the solar logos than the planetary logos. So even though I'm, logoically on the planetary logos, but staying here longer and longer, I integrate this planet to the logoic principles that exist on higher levels, which are included in the initiations. So we have planetary initiations, which go into 7 initiations. Then we go into cosmic initiations, which are solar first, and those go through another 5 initiations. So that 3 up from that is the 10th initiation, and that 10th initiation is the strongest pulse of bringing solar law onto Earth. Where if it's the planetary logos, it's a matter of helping to change the teachings of awakening the heart and helping people aligned to Earth service and not want to kill themselves or think they're going to go off to service on another planet, or all these delusions that happen all the way up to the 7th initiation, you know. So the planetary logos is responsible for getting people through their delusions, which is thinking that there's someplace else to go. And there's not. This is where you go. This is where you wanted to go. You know, and now you're here. So now you got to deal with it. And that's what the initiations are about. Yeah. The initiations, when you awaken in your process of the initiations, if this takes place, and it happens because if I continue staying alive, you know, then you receive more initiations. Yeah, you can't help it because I'm a radiatory healer, a planetary healer. But over the last 2 years, you know, I've been opening through the process of bringing in solar law. You know, so I took over the position as president and took over positions as, you know, main teacher, but beyond main teacher of all teachers on Earth. Anybody who's teaching, they're unqualified. You know, and as a planetary logos, I'm saying it above that. You know, as a direct emanation, and then becoming now an incarnation of the solar logos. You know, so for the next 7 years, yeah, you will be dealing with more, and that's why this world's changing quickly, and there's no way out of it, folks. You know, because you're going to go into the cosmic logoic realm unless someone knocks me off. And I'm just going to reincarnate and boast right back up very quickly, and I'll stay hidden if I have to get past this cycle, you know, so I can reach into that cosmic level, which happens at around my 90th birthday. Yeah, and that is a very big enlightening scenario for humanity. If that takes place, then we have about 80% of humanity can receive the first initiation. 80%, that's overwhelming. That's like, I'd like to have you to have the vaccine, but that's nothing compared to having enlightenment. You know, and having humanity receive 80% vaccinated through enlightenment, you know, is the goal of the planetary logos, because we're being vaccinated from the impurities of the lunar influences that come from us not taking right relationship to the planetary logos and thinking that we have other alternatives and all these things. Yeah, so that leads us to impurities. We listen to other teachers. Everything is false prophecy. You listen to other teachers, no matter how wise and how smart they seem to be. I can tell you the truth, they're not right. They're not right. And the truth is on a very fine needle's edge, and I can see it. Yeah, so I don't sit and question it, and I try not to explain it, you know, because it's not on that plane. You know, it's something else, a whole series of events that come together to create and formulate a higher truth that gives us the protection that we need. A whole bunch of things. Like you've seen all these things that are coming together for infrastructure. It's not just, you know, we're going to take care of the kids, we're going to pay better tax, you know, we're going to get hospital care and all that. No, we got the whole list of everything that's needed in our nation is infrastructurally going to be taken care of. Yeah. And when that happens, we start healing things that we don't know are causing our unhealthiness. We don't know that our immunity comes from our prana. We don't know that our immunity comes from being enlightened. And you can't really choose the right diet and all the things and all the right kinds of healing modems until you become more enlightened, you know? So this phase right now that we're going through is to take away a lot of future death and suffering and disease and things, you know, by taking all those impurities out of the earth, out of your water, out of your home, out of your school, out of your workplace, all those job conditions and circumstances that you would have to go into and think you have to go back to coal, you have to go back to this lifestyle, and you have to be accepting of $12 an hour. There's not much more you could do about it. And you can't do much about being an addict, you know. But now we can, you know, because we have the law of the solar principle. And it's the solar principle that completely knocks everything out. It doesn't have anything to do with trying to adequately awaken your soul. It has to do with channeling into you, creating a transmission into you that becomes solar itself, and that literally locks your chakras into the correct position. That's done through solar law. Yeah, and it's only, like through Babaji or Jesus, solar law presented out of that emanation then redirects your chakras. Well, now it's happening on a whole planetary thing, because the solar law overthrows our planetary law, which is under lunar conditions, and lunar people. So you're not under those processes anymore. You now have people governing people who are being overshadowed by me, to be risen up into the third and fourth initiation and able to say and do the things they need to do, and have a sangha that allows it to happen. And they just go forward. They just go forward because the laws are absolute. There's not a debate. There's not a separation of, we believe in this or we believe in that. In solar law, there is no separation whatsoever. It's the end of separation. In lunar law, it's the creation of separation. Creation of separation. Male, female, bad guy, good guy, all these things is separation. In solar law, you're hit so hard that you cannot be the emanation of the bad and the good looking at the bad, making the bad think it's good. All these delusions and illusions that come from our solar plex are burnt out by the solar principle. And that's the awakening of the heart. And it's channeling that channels through humanity. And that's a very, very big thing. And that's what this cycle's about. So when we get to the year 2035, we'll be in that solar cycle that I'm going to be sitting in. Because I will go through another 7 years. And that's going to be a crazy ass thing for everybody. Because I brought Biden into this. I brought Trump into manifestation. He's going to be judged, and everything is going to be changed. And your abilities to accept, the world that Christ is bringing, and the ability for you to, within the next 3 years, to be able to go, yes, I know Buddha Maitreya is Jesus the Christ reincarnated. Yes, I know that. Yes, I know I'm Jewish, but hey, I still know this guy's Jesus the Christ, and this is today, and I am here today, and this is what I'm saying. And guess what? My mom believes the same thing, and I didn't think she ever would. Things are changing, aren't they? And I am willing this to happen because it is the right under law. If you know the Ten Commandments and you know that God put this together under law, and I'm here to abide by that law, and nothing is going to be stopping this law. So enjoy. Let's do our invocation. Okay, repeat after me. I invoke the power, the love, and the wisdom of my ashram, soul, and monad. To guide me into the right activity in the plan. To clarify and stimulate my mind. To transform and transmute my feelings and emotions. To energize and vitalize and heal my physical and etheric body. So there is a normal flow of energy in my physical and etheric body. Through this day and every day, I ask this in the name of the Christ to serve the One. All in the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Amen.
Let the forces of light bring illumination to mankind. Let the spirit of peace be spread abroad. May humanity of goodwill everywhere meet in a spirit of cooperation. May forgiveness on the part of all mankind be the keynote at this time. Let power attend the efforts of the great ones. So let it be, and help us do our part. I invoke the holy archangels of heaven. Let the lords of liberation issue forth. Let them bring succor to the sons of mankind. Let the rider from the secret place come forth, and come say, "Come forth, O mighty one." Let the souls of mankind awaken to the light, and may they stand with massed intent. Let the fiat of the Lord go forth. The end of the woe has come. Come forth, O mighty one. The hour of service of the saving force has now arrived. Let it be spread abroad, O mighty one. Let light and love and power and death fulfill the purpose of the coming one. The will to save is here. The love to carry forth the work is widely spread abroad. The active aid of all who know the truth is also here. Come forth, O mighty one, and blend these three. Construct a great defending wall. The rule of evil now must end. From the point of light within the mind of God, let light stream forth into the minds of mankind. Let light descend on earth. From the point of love within the heart of God, let love stream forth into the hearts of Christ return to earth. From the center, where the will of God is known, let purpose guide the little wills of men, a purpose which the masters know and serve. From the center, which we call the race of mankind, let the plan of love and light work out, and may it seal the door where evil dwells. Let light and love and power restore the plan on earth. The sons of men are one, and I am one with them. I seek to love, not hate. I seek to serve and not exact due service. I seek to heal, not to hurt. Let pain bring due reward of light and love. Let the soul control the outer form, and let life in all events bring forth to light the love which underlies the happenings of the time. Let vision come and insight. Let the future stand revealed. Let inner union demonstrate and outer cleavage be gone. Let love prevail. Let all mankind love.
Okay, and just relax. Okay, open your eyes. Take it easy. All right. So, as I mentioned the other day, that part of the law is the ability to attain justice, yeah, and justice for all, yeah, So, and it's not about in a lower mind way, in a personality way, how you might see that happening. It's about rights, human rights. When human rights are being wiped away, and everything unjust is happening, and then you don't have the ability to change that because you're corrupt or you're supporting a corrupt situation that was unjust, but you kind of just let it slide. Like January 6th, maybe if you wait long enough, you could just let it slide, But it was the worst thing that happened in America other than the Civil War, It was a really bad scenario. And for us to do something about it, it's the law that's going to come in, and it's going to use the principles of justice, the justice system, in order to create powers that overthrow this lackadaisical process of letting certain people get away with it and other people don't. So you have to create within the justice system, you have to create a certain substantial amount of evidence. And a lot of times you're creating a first-time scenario. First time we've ever put someone away like this. So here we have January 6th, and we have over 500 people in jail under federal law. And they're going through the justice system. And in just the last couple of days, 4 of them are getting sentenced for 18 years in prison. 18 years. 3 years the lowest, 18 the highest. So what this does, and I explained this, how come they didn't put Trump in prison? How come they didn't just put handcuffs on him? How come, you can't, because we have already blown it in that many times. We've let people go. We let people not care about it. So you have to set up certain principles that get passed to prove that this is an illegal act, and once someone goes to jail for it, you've set that principle. And once you've set that principle, it's almost like a law. It's easy to repeat. Easy to repeat. So now we've got 500, we've got 4 going to prison, we have possibly another 120 going to prison, all of them going to prison because they were told to do what they did by Trump. So this all sets a principle of opportunity for us to catch the guy who instigated it. And without putting any of these people in prison, we cannot even talk to this guy in court. We can maybe talk to his lawyers, but the defense is that we supported the fact that we let these guys go. So how can we do anything to the person who instigated it, let alone the people who did it? So first, if you maintain these principles, you create a field of justice. Yeah. So now these laws are being broken. A lot of laws are being broken by many lunar lords in a lunar world. Yeah, in a lunar world. But we're less a lunar world today, and we're going to be less a lunar world tomorrow. So now we're able to see through the eyes of the solar principles. And justice is based on the second ray. Justice is based on balance, finding balance, making things right, serving a reason, not to kill someone or cause them pain or make them suffer, but to actually say they did it. They did it. And now they broke a law saying they shouldn't do it. And now we can see 100 laws that Trump has broken. And we have principle that we can say, okay, we could take you to court for that. For what you did in Belgium, what you did on the streets, what you did in Washington, what you did in coming out of the church, what you did in Georgia, what you do right now in Arizona, all the things that are going on, you're instigating are illegal. But because, you're a very lunar, illegal guy, and all of us follow that, there's no justice in the world. We have all Black Lives Matter. We have all these things that are unjust. And nothing can be justified. Nothing can be fixed until we get the lunar lords. And they all have these things set up inside our system to let them go free. And in their mind, they believe they're superior. And that you don't even have a right to talk to them this way. He has to be called president. Biden doesn't even ask to be called president. Most of the time when you hear President Biden, you don't hear the word President Biden, you hear Biden. But if you hear Trump, you hear President Trump. The news will say, President Trump said it today. And you just go, what? And they don't even really say, previous or past president or, failed president or flunky president or, whatever they say president, and he wants it that way. He'll send out newsletters saying, the President of the United States says, and everybody's just going, yeah, that's right, because we don't have justice. And in order to stop this thing, we got to get this guy in an orange jumpsuit. We have to slap handcuffs on him just like we did the person who works for him and all the other people who have worked for them. Those are principles. When we set a principle, we show that principle. We show that this is an action that can be done, that we have a legal right to follow suit on this, and that we will come out. In the end, the person will go to prison. And they're showing right now the people who did the January 6th are going to prison. So that means that our dear president has a 70 to 80% chance of having handcuffs and going to prison. And then he's got his person who works for him who had handcuffs and is going to prison. He has an 80 to 90% chance of following the same direction as his children who are going to get handcuffs and go to prison. These are all principles. We have to straighten out these principles. Yeah? And once we've done that, and there's no more, we're bickering back and forth, is this right or wrong? And the only question of right or wrong is that white superiority. Do we do something against that? Do we actually go against that? Is it our nature to go ahead and do that? Where so much of us knee-jerk into going, no, he was the president, no, he was we can't do that. It doesn't matter who the person is, what they are, what they stand for. If it's unjust and harming other people and they know that they're breaking the law, we need to put him in cuffs and put it straight, or we won't have it fixed down the line. Because this is all channeling. And if we don't understand that we have to be regulated by the Holy Spirit, and the Holy Spirit is going to make what you can't see seen. And if you can't see him in an orange jumpsuit, and I can, I'll make you see him in an orange jumpsuit. And you'll see it on the news, and you'll be in shock, and you'll go, cultural waveform, what is this? We're all going to hell now. Trump's in a goddamn orange suit. Oh, this is just unbelievable. How's that possible? You have to be prepared for these things that are going to happen. Because the cultural shock is the reason why things don't go forward. Is cultural shock. We do not want to go through cultural shock. So the moment we get a sense that we're being triggered to move, change through cultural shock, we hit cultural imperative. And that cultural imperative makes us angry animals. And we can't think clearly, we can't do anything. We join little tribal groups, and we start clicking together and walking back and forth and start saying stupid things, and act like we're all committed to the same agreement. That's a social imperative. That's a cultural demand on lower nature to make sure that you don't grow. It's your personality getting in the way of the soul. And you need to take a freaking breath. Don't let the cultural imperative get to you when you see him in an orange jumpsuit. Don't just jump up and down and say, oh, this is the greatest thing in the world. But take it easy. Take a deep breath. Because this is just the beginning, folks. Just the beginning. There's going to be 100 children come out and say Michael Jackson raped them and had sex with them. 100. There's going to be millions of adults come out and say, this priest did this to me, and I cannot say it no longer. I cannot not say it. And it's 100 over 1. And they're still alive. They may be 50, 60, or 70 years old now. Priest may be, almost dead. But justice is justice. And we can't let it continue, or they reincarnate. And it's that value energy behind their reincarnation not changing because of this territorial imperative. The demons want to be in charge rather than the angels. And they need to make the angels feel like they're demons themselves. And they're not. There's nothing about an angel that has demons in them. Nothing about it. Yeah? Does that make sense? Demons is an elemental force. It's real. It's very, very real. But it's not part of human nature. It's not a part of our nature. It's a spirit nature. Yeah? And if you drop into it, all negativity, all avarice, all imperil, all glamour make manifest into demons. And they're real. They have elemental forces to them. They take possessive people. They create a new nature inside of you. You know, you can be possessed by this force. Yeah? And that's the purpose behind what's going on here. It's to allow you to go through territorial imperative and allow one of your major lunar lords to be caught and busted and torn down and disregarded, and let them die of old age or whatever natural way. And that way, when they reincarnate, they'll be so weak and confused and wrong that they'll go from all that left-hand spin, they'll start cranking over to a right-hand spin, very beginning. And they'll begin in the beginning stage of a human being. All these lunar lords get to that. They come back and they start off on the right-hand path, but in the beginning. So they're just, like pretty ignorant and pretty, unfamiliar with a whole lot of things. But while they're here on Earth, they're picked up and lifted up into the middle way. Yeah? Not upper class, not lower class, the middle way. Yeah? And when everything is in infrastructure and everything's being taken care of, we're all being taken care of to be in the middle way. It balances everything out. It's natural. But we have to align to justice. If we don't see justice, it's going to come back on us. It will come back on us 100-fold, because they're in league with the devil and they're all incarnated by demonic force. And you want to stop that. We want everybody to be an angel. I want Trump to be an angel. You seen him as a little kid? Dangest cutest thing you ever seen. Everybody's an angel. Hitler, he could do it. He could do it. Everybody could do it. Every human being can be the better angel. Okay, that's it. Thank you.